welcome to the video, guys. This is going to be the first and introductory Prime 13 video, and I'm finally glad to be able to do it. And I will give you guys a quick introduction of what Prime 13 is. Now, before we start, if you want to, go ahead and put the video on like 1.25 speed or 1.5 speed. It shouldn't be. I'm trying to keep it under 30 minutes, but if it does get long, speed it up. Okay, Prime 13. What Prime 13 is, this is a video series that I'm making about 13 weapons slash roles that I have for weapons. That is my loadout. Maybe that sounded complicated, so let me say it again to clarify. I have 13 purposes, and for those 13 purposes, I have 13 weapon systems. So for my first one, what we have is my general purpose rifle, or my do-all rifle, my go-to-war rifle, any type of conflict or anything that I need a rifle for. This is the rifle that I'm picking up. This is the first rifle that I pick up. I trust it. I have over 10,000 rounds through it. Hopefully I can show you guys some video of what 10,000 rounds of wear looks like, and talk to you guys about reliability, accuracy, weapon manipulation, and aftermarket parts. So in saying that, right, I'm put my glasses back on. I don't know why I started this video without my glasses on. In saying that, this series has 12 more slots to fill. And there are some that I have that are unfinished builds, and there are some that I have that are basically finished. So in saying that, if you guys want to support me and you guys want to see this series and its fulfillment, I'm starting up a Patreon. You don't have to give. I'm not telling you that you have to, but anything that you do give helps. It helps me buy more ammo and finish up builds that are in the series. Now, another big point of this series is to focus on developing your skills with one platform or with less platforms. This isn't going to be necessarily a gun review channel. My goal isn't to get a whole bunch of guns and review what's the newest thing coming out, but to review a platform or a gun that I have or that I built and keep you guys updated with long-term, the long-term use of the weapon. Quirks that I've learned, especially with something like the RDB. There's probably not a lot of people that have reviews up that have over 10,000 rounds through the RDB. I do. I have the proof. I have, it's not a lot of people that probably shot out past 500 yards with this rifle. I've shot out to 960 yards. I have the proof. It's on my, if you guys haven't seen the shorts, I already have it uploaded to the YouTube before this video comes out. But all those things, right, is what's unique about this channel, what's going to be unique about Prime 13. You're going to find out special ways to reload, weapons manipulations that you might not find on other channels, and weapon manipulations that are special to these special platforms. So once again, if you guys want to support, go check out my Patreon. And without further ado, let's get into it. So starting off, let's go with why. Why is this my go-to rifle and my go-to weapon? The first thing is that this is 5.56. This rifle still takes Stenag magazines. I got my sling stuck on the chair, but it still takes Stenag magazines, AR-15 magazines, which means I don't have to ever worry about magazine compatibility. So I'm good to go there. I used to have issues in the past, and that's when we'll go over reliability. I'll tell you guys about the issues I used to have with mags. But Stenag magazines, it has a really nice release, magazine release. Another reason why it won't fit, this is a 20-inch barrel. Now, comparing this side to side to an AR-15, which, I'll show you guys my AR-15 real quick. Let me go grab it, and I'll show you guys what it looks like next to an AR-15. But this is shorter than AR-15, 16-inch AR-15 without the can, the 16-inch fully compressed, and with a 16-inch AR-15 fully extended. This is shorter than that with my suppressor that usually goes on here. And the suppressor that I usually put on here is a KGM R556. So let me grab the AR-15 real quick. We'll cut back, and this is a size comparison. Like I said, this is the AR-15 with the stock fully collapsed, right? Stock fully collapsed, and as you can see, the AR-15 is longer. I'm just doing a rough size estimate. Of course, right, with a shorter muzzle device, it wouldn't be as long, but this muzzle device is actually an over the barrel muzzle device, so the muzzle device actually starts right where my finger is. So if I were to extend this all the way out, or at least extend it to where it's comfortable for me, right, which would be right here, maybe just a little bit further out, right? This is where it'd be comfortable for me, or my length of pull. And now you can see the size difference. Like I said, with my can on there, it's shorter than a 16-inch AR-15. So that, while I actually have the AR-15 out, let's talk about balance as well. As you can see, my KelTec RDB is loaded up with an LPVO, as well as a light and a bipod. Now this AR-15 doesn't have any of that on here. Yes, this rail might be a little bit heavier. I have a special gas block on here, but that's for when this thing gets its own video. And it's a government profile barrel. Once again, 16 inches. But something I could say right away is even me holding the AR-15 out, it takes a little more strength for me to balance. So I'm still working on my strength. I'm going to the gym, but point being, right, holding it up, and that's what you call it. The RDB, even with a 20-inch barrel, is much easier to balance, even with all this stuff on there. So let me go to the bipod. That's gonna look weird if you just hold the bipod. Right. So for all this extra weight that I have on here, it's right around the same, if not a little easier to balance than the AR-15. And I know they said that I put my arm up twice, but it's a lot easier to come up with and come up from than having an AR-15 with all this extra weight on it. So that's another reason why I really like the RDB. Third reason, this gun suppresses really well. This has a fully adjustable gas block. It has 20 positions. Now I do wish that it was labeled. I do wish that maybe instead of 20 positions, it was closer to 14 or 15. But I do like it because, right, some people live in different climates and higher altitudes where they might end up using that higher end of the gas portion that I might not use. Like for me, I can reliably run this gun with it's 4 from wide open. So when I say wide open, the gas block bleeding almost all the gas out of the system. So 4 from open is completely reliable for me. I can get away with doing 3 from open for both when I have the suppressor on and when I don't have the suppressor on. Now, do I need to? No, my can is relatively a high flow can. I said relatively, it's not a Huxworks, but it's not as restrictive as an RC2. Even then, point being, one of the huge benefits to this rifle compared to an AR-15 and even all the other bullpups is that the ejection port is downwards. So I don't get gas to the face. Any gas that most time is escaping down here, or very few gas is escaping from the side here, that from right here. Because if you're properly gassed, all that gas is being used to push the bolt, and it's going down, or it's going through the system and down and out. Now, if you have too much gas, right, some of that excess gas will come off to the side. And now, as a right-handed shooter, I've never experienced gas to the face, and even for people that have shot this, they have not experienced gas to the face when the rifle is gassed properly. So that is very nice. And like I said, it's not like an AR or a traditional AR where when I say gas properly, well, now you have to go get a buffer or a spring. No, it's all right here, and it's very easy to adjust. Speaking of adjusting the gas, what you want to do whenever you're first setting up the gas, you're going to take a mag. You're only going to put 1 round in. You don't put a whole bunch of rounds. You just do 1 round in. This is like the FOUL method or any other adjustable gas system. You put 1 round in, you load it into your rifle, you shoot it, and then you look to see if the bolt is locked back. If the bolt locks all the way back to the rear, like as you see now, right, you see the rod, right, that means you have enough gas in the system, and then you're going to want to do 2 more clicks towards the closed position of the gas box, so it restricts more gas to stay in the system. So you do 2 more clicks for reliability, and your gas is tuned. A good indicator of your gas being too high is the bolt coming back very hard and it being very snappy. a good way to think about, the whole entire 3 o'clock position is from here, right? You want your ejection to be going out like this, almost going straight out like this. That's proper gassing for the RDB. Whereas overgassing is going to be, it's slamming back here and rocking forward. So a lot of times you'll see when people complain about the shells hitting their arms, that's sometimes a very good indicator of, hey, your system's overgassed because your brass is shooting forward. So that's just a good way to think about it. Once again, if you want to think about gas positions, as far as like when we think AR-15, right? This is about 3 o'clock, right? This is about 2 o'clock. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if that's going to translate well. And then coming back here is about 5 o'clock, right? That's under gas. And then 6 o'clock is double feed. So definitely make sure as soon as you get your rifle, if you're just picking one of these up, you go through, you gas it properly for your region. I probably recommend using maybe your weakest ammo or like mid-grade ammo to tune your gas system, and you should be good to go. Because with that +2 clicks of reliability, right, it's going to run your soft ammo just fine, and then it's going to also run your heavier like 77 grains that give a little more pressure. It's going to run that just fine. But once again, your goal is you're not trying to overgas it and damage more components and just put more gas into the system. Why have more recoil if you don't have to? Only time I'd ever do extra gas on top of 2 clicks for reliability is if I know I'm going to adverse conditions. So even then, that's what those 2 clicks are for. Moving on, tip to butt. Right here we have, I don't think I thought about the flash hider over. I think I did. Yeah, right here we have, this is my muzzle device for the KGM R556. Excellent device. If it was on more suppressors, or if KGM made a little bit louder suppressors, this would be the main thing I'd stick with because I like it. It's almost the same reason why I like Griffin Armament's dual lock system. There's a taper right here, which your suppressor meets up with, that blocks off gas from coming back, and then there's a ratcheting system in the back here. The suppressor's real tight, it doesn't move, and the return to zero on this rifle specifically that I've tested has had a less than 0.25 inch change of zero from suppressor on and suppressor off. Now that's my rifle, that's my mount, right? So that's this barrel. I'm not guaranteeing that for every KelTec barrel, for every KGM R556. But the reason I went with that can is because that can was more precision focused, and it was also has recoil reduction benefits that it has more of that over other cans. So I really enjoy that. Like I said, another reason why I went with this is a 20-inch barrel. So I get a 20-inch package. I get super flat ballistics out of my duty ammo. The ammo that I choose to run is a 70 grain solid copper spun, and at 850 yards, my hold is about 8.5 mils, 8.3 mils. So for me, that's excellent. Because if I want to get out to 850 yards, I don't have to dial, but at least now then I can take the time to dial, and I'm not dialing past the zero, so I'm not going to get lost in my dial. I can just go, okay, hey, I know I got to go at 8. Okay, cool. 8.4. Right, and then I know if I want to get back to 0, cool. Let me go ahead and come back down 0. And that makes it super simple. Having a cartridge and the velocity to, basically all the way out to 500, I'm not holding a bunch. I can just use the chevron in this optic out to 400 on the bottom of the chevron, if not just 1 mil below it, aiming at right above the chest area or the heart line. So to be able to do that makes shooting easier, right? I have there's ranging features inside this reticle. So let's go ahead and talk about the scope, right, and the sighting system. I have MagPul M-Bus 3s. I really like these because the front sight, you can change it from the fatter front sight to the thinner part. And for me, with my eyes, you guys see I wear glasses, past 300 yards, for the most case, iron sights take up the whole entire target. It's very hard for me to identify the target. Now I have hit out to 500 with these iron sights, but I can't do it as reliably as I can at 300 just because my eyes, it's hard for me to focus and see a full-size IPSC target. Now with this scope has been amazing. The clarity is really good. As you guys know, this is the primary arms PLxC 1:8 with the Griffin mill reticle. I highly recommend it. The range finding on it is excellent. Glass clarity is excellent. I have taken this setup out to 960 yards. I have done it multiple times. I've had the person who's teaching me and who's in my clip on that posted me hitting 960 yards was able to get 3 back-to-back hits with 77 grain AAC OTM, 9 the Sierra Magic King bullet, and that was really impressive. And after that, I was like, this PLxC is good enough for me. This is it. I don't need anything else on my fighting rifle, on my go-to rifle as far as a scope. I don't need more magnification for my goal, which is 850. I can PID someone pretty confidently out to 500. I've taken this out to the woods when I was hiking in Florida, and it was very easy to identify animals, or just to be able to see through the tree lines, which is one of the big reasons why I didn't go for dot and magnifier, because I felt like for my eyes 6x was good, and which before I had a Vortex Strike Eagle 1:6 second focal plane, and I definitely am not a fan of second focal plane. And this use case where I plan on going out past 500 or past 600, because I like the ability to be able to use all my references all throughout the reticle at any magnification I am, because I don't run my LPVO as a 1 or max for the magnification. I have trained in multiple different areas, both off the flat range and private land, like on hills and using cover behind trees, and also a flat range right out to 1100 yards, which once again, my furthest confirmed hit with this rifle is 960. So in that manner, right, being able to, especially while on the move and working in between barricades, being able to go in between, so even up close at 25 yards, I tend not to like 1 magnification on this scope. I like 1.5 to 2, because I get just a little bit more of that reticle, and I'm able to see more of the target and not rush my shots. So I really like the ability to do that, and then I like the ability to transition from there. If I'm quickly trying to take a shot, I'm going from a target that's within 50 yards and then going out to a target or target at 50 yards and then going out to a target that's like 260 or somewhere in that 200 to 300 range, right? I can still use that chevron, but if that target's behind cover or maybe behind a hill and I'm trying to place that shot in there, I know I can use, I guess 260 isn't a good reference. Let's say somewhere further out, like 450, because 450 at that point, I'm no longer using the tip of the chevron or the same aiming point. But now, if I can see the target well, and I don't need to increase my magnification just to get a hit on the target, a good A or C zone hit, I can now, instead of having to change my magnification, I can use that same reference point of about a mil, maybe 1.5 mils, line that up, pull the trigger. And then if I do want to change the magnification, right, I can zoom in and not have to worry about my reference point changing. So I really do enjoy this over the Strike Eagle. And like I said, the glass clarity is great. I haven't had to worry about parallax even going out to 960. So absolutely amazing. Let's keep moving. Don't want to take up too much time like last time. I did record for over 50 minutes, my lord. Let's talk about the bipod. MagPul bipod. This thing has been excellent. It's the M-LOK version. I know the old versions had problems with loosening up under recoil, which I've not had that problem. This has been pretty sturdy. Never had problems with it coming off. I did take out pan from it. I believe that's pan. I kept the tilt, or I think that you can't take out the tilt. But this bipod has been excellent. It's helped me in prone shooting. It's even helped when going up against barriers, as you use it as a barricade stop. So that's been really nice. Coming back, trigger.
Smash!
One more time, we're starting this again. So previously, I had stopped at the bipod, and then the video had some desync audio issues, but we're gonna get this video out not being stopped. moving on and backwards from the bipod, let's go ahead and talk about the trigger. This trigger on the KelTec RDB, I would say, even from the factory, is probably one of the best triggers on the market, right? So put this on fire. We are safe and clear. Do it one more time. Physically check. Yep, there's nothing in there. Touch the chamber, my finger's dirty. We have no rounds inside the chamber. So I will ghost the trigger for you guys. The trigger is pretty consistent. I will say the first time, sometimes there is a little bit of creep on the first pull day per se. So I view it as a two-stage trigger as well. So you have this first stage right here, come back to the wall, and then you pull, and that is your pull. Now the reset is right at 90 degrees, and then I'll do it again. You're basically right back on that wall. It's not too much travel from the reset, pull. Now, I don't know how you guys view two-stage triggers. I have the AR two-stage trigger I can pull out really, really quick. I'll do that here so I can compare it. I would like to also say the trigger that I have on the AR is a pretty expensive trigger. I'm supposed to be saving it for when I do my overview of my AR build, but I can probably share and spoil that. But before we, let me go grab that real quick. This will be cut. Let me go grab that two-stage trigger to compare it. All right, we're back. I have my AR-15 here compared for triggers. Now, this is kind of not fair. One, it's AR-15. When I say that, AR-15 triggers are inherently better for the most part. Most bullpup triggers, they have to go back to a linkage. The KelTec RDB is unique in the way that the trigger is disconnecting at a sear close to the trigger, then disconnecting closer to the hammer. So here, right, this looks like this is my AR-15. It's two-stage trigger. It has take up, right? Here's the wall. I lied, that's not the wall. This is the wall. Bam. That's the reset. That was the first stage, second stage. Do it again. First stage, second stage. Here's the reset. Right about 90. The reset isn't as long as it is on the RDB. I really like this trigger. I'll be doing an overview of what this trigger is once I get to the AR-15 video and I have more attachments for it. So let's go ahead and pull the RDB back out. And I'll demonstrate it one more time. Here we go. From the reset, 90. Just to compare that to a stock RDB trigger. Now, if I haven't said, I put the MCarbo enhanced trigger return spring in there, so that's why that one is lighter. This was more like a 4 or 5 pound pull. This one is a little bit cleaner of a trigger. This is a newer production model. So, as you can see, this one's heavier. Reset's still about the same at 90. I don't know if you can tell, there's more for me to come back to after this reset. So that's the stock trigger. All right, moving on from the trigger, let's go back to the handguard. I'm gonna try to keep my time well and short so I don't have to re-record this a 6th time, 7th time. This Magwell, this is the Dan Haga or Haga Defense Magwell. I tend to like this one more than the one that you can buy from the KelTec website. This one fits nicer, it looks really good. It also works pretty well. Then going back from there, we have the Dan Haga or Haga Defense RDB stock. And the main reason I got that was for my sling. With this stock, I now have a sling point where I can, a QD sling point where I can attach my 2-point sling, and that works really well for me. 2-point sling fits me pretty well. It allows me to retain the rifle This is not going to be in frame, so never mind. I don't know why I'm standing. Let me sit back down. So sitting back down, let me demonstrate too also how this Magwell works, right? That was pretty good because I went straight in. But let's say I came at an angle. Now let's try it again. So this helps out a lot, especially compared to the stock Magwell, which once again we'll pull out the other RDB to demonstrate that. These aren't hard rifles to reload, right? But if you don't come in perfect with this one, right, I can get caught up a lot easier on these edges. Here, making a recipe. Like I said, it's not too hard to reload at all. Once you practice, this is very simple to get up and in there. The Magwell definitely helps, but as you can see, there's no QD points even on this rifle. This is a different version for me to sling the rifle. There are these hook points here and hook point here, but that's not the sling system that I chose to go with. So that's why I definitely appreciate the upgrades that Dan Haga has, which I've been thinking about trying out the adjustable butt pad from Dan Haga that works on all the RDB models, but we haven't done that yet. So I think I went over the Magwell, went over the stock parts and what I've added to the rifle. Now let's move on to reliability. This I bought used. I bought it used a couple years ago. I didn't know why it was sold until I started using it, and now I can tell you guys the overall reliability I've had with this rifle. I plan on doing a separate video showing you guys what the internals look like after 10,000 rounds, but let's go over the reliability I've had with this rifle, which is, when I first got it, it wasn't too reliable. I was having a couple of issues with gassing. I couldn't get the rifle to run reliably when it was a 17-inch, even with the gas already all the way closed off. I'd have mags falling out. If it wasn't metal mags, P mags wouldn't stay in there whenever it was gassed properly or not consistently. I was getting double feeds. This was also the first, I can say, to KelTec's defense. When I first got this rifle, I exclusively ran steel case. I ran about 2 cases of steel case, 2,000 rounds of steel case through it, and that's where I was having problems. I did get one stuck case in the chamber, stopped my range day, and I was done for the day. And like I said, some of my problems came from it being me using steel case. Some of the problems also came from the fact of the matter that there was just issues with this rifle. And like I said, that was a gassing issue, which I sent into them, and they paid for. Anytime that I've had to send in this rifle for something that has been wrong with the rifle and not something I caused, they pay for the shipping label. I've shipped it back to them, and they replaced the parts for free. So, like I said, we'll say the one issue was gas related, which is sent in, they fixed. Then the next issue that I had with this rifle was I had an issue with the barrel. Like I said, I don't know what the previous owner did to this rifle before I got it, but I was having stabilization issues. I'd seen Operator AF, he had the same issue. His barrel wasn't stabilizing bullets, and I was not satisfied with that, so I sent it back to them. They gave me a whole new barrel and this whole entire upper assembly for free, no charge. They paid for shipping. So I want to shout out Michelle and Lynn over at KelTec. Their customer service has been great. They've always looked after me for any type of problems that I've ever had with this rifle, and they've made sure that I've been on the right path. So I want to thank them for that. And then, like I said, I highly recommend, if you ever have a problem with your rifle, warranty-wise, I can at least say for KelTec, they will take care of you, especially if you are the original owner of the rifle, and even if you are, as you can see, the second-hand owner of the rifle. So like I said, they took care of that. They took care of the gassing, they took care of the barrel. And as I said, this was originally a 17-inch. I sent it in for the $150 service to get the 20-inch barrel, and they gave me the 20-inch barrel and re-head spaced it. And let me talk about warranty time. I know for a lot of people worry. They say, I don't want to do warranty. It's so much hassle. It's not. I promise you it's not. You call them, you let them know what your problem is. They will determine if they're going to pay for the label or not. Even if they don't pay for the label, you can ask, hey, can I get a prepaid label? They'll charge you $25 or $35, it might be now because of inflation. And you get that prepaid label, you put it in the box that you bought it with, and you take it to FedEx, you ship it off to them. All right, let's talk about warranty. When it comes to warranty, the longest time my rifle has been actually at KelTec being warranted has been about 5 weeks. Now, in general, whenever I have had to send it back, which I've sent it back a total of 6 or 7 times, 3 times for the same problem, once for the 20-inch conversion, and 2 times for problems that they resolved, which I went over the gas and the bullet stabilization, so the bad burnt out barrel. Now, in saying that, please don't be afraid to use your warranty. It's a simple process. You pay $25, $35 for a prepaid label. If they aren't paying for it, you send it to them, they run the warranty work, they send it back to you. And most time the shipping is 2 days because it's a rifle, and federal laws, I believe they have to ship rifles within 7 days and pistols within 2 days. So my experience with their warranty team has been great. Now, the last problem that I've had with this rifle was a problem that you can probably see from other videos. I will link them below. I might even throw clips of them in here. It is the problem that used to plague the RDB, not plague the RDB, but has happened on other rifles, not only the RDB. With my RDB, I'd have a runaway issue, saying that I'd pull the trigger once and I'd get 2 rounds to fire. And that came from the rifle being overgassed. At first, that was the issue, it was overgassed. So the firing pin would get stuck, and when the bolt would come back home, since the firing pin was stuck in the forward position, it'd send off that second round. And after sending off that second round, that'd free up the firing pin for the most case, and when the bolt came back home, it wouldn't fire again. Now, hindsight, this partially comes from me not cleaning the bolt and taking it apart and making sure that the firing pin was clean. And then also it was partially just a design issue or something that they ended up fixing with design. So that's third time I sent it in, or the third problem that was fixed with this rifle, which was, hey, the firing pin was sticking. So they ended up putting a spring in there to keep the firing pin from staying forward, right? And I know some other rifles have done that. Some AR-10s do that. So they fixed that, and in saying all that, this rifle has been reliable. After those first 2,000 rounds, especially with the gas and the barrel, operationally, it's been reliable. I put it through mud, it's been reliable, just as reliable as any other rifle. I plan on doing a video on that, but I've enjoyed it. I trust my life with it. Even after 8,000 rounds with all that replaced, they did replace the whole entire bolt when they did the redesign on the firing pin spring, and they gave me a new bolt, so that bolt only probably has about 500 rounds through it. The next part that I'm going to have to change, or going to have to get a new part, is the hammer, which I'll show in a separate video. But this thing has been reliable, and it's also been accurate. I've shot repeatedly with 69 grain AAC open tip match and 77 grain open tip match under inch groups at 100 yards. And most of those have been 3-round groups. My 5-round groups are always closer to 1.1, 1.25, and for the most part, that has been a skill thing and less of the rifle's capabilities. So, man, this rifle has been great. Hopefully, it didn't go too long and strong-winded in the second part of me re-recording it. But I appreciate you guys for watching. This has been my overview of the KelTec RDB20. This is the first rifle in Prime 13. My go-to war, GPR, do everything rifle. Please leave your comments down in the comment section. Let me know if there are problems that you have with your RDB. Maybe I can help you out. I almost consider myself an expert on the platform just because of how many rounds I have through it, all the drills I've ran with it. Like I said, I have a lot of experience behind it. So leave your problems down below. Leave your criticisms down below. If you have any questions, let me know. And I'm be doing more videos on this rifle. I'll be doing some videos on parts where I'll show you guys the parts. I'm gonna put up a video where I'm shooting it, put up a video where I'm taking it out to longer ranges, and I'm also gonna put up a video where I go over how to clear malfunctions, because I think that's probably gonna be one of the most asked questions. You guys be blessed, read your Bible, work out, be kind, and I'll see you guys in my next video.